All right, once you get closer to settlement, the title company is going to ask you, whether you represent the buyer or the seller, they're going to be asking you for a commission statement. So standard, super easy document to fill out. Think of it as an invoice. You know, at settlement, the title company is going to cut a check for the commission. You know, $300,000 sale, 3% commission. They're going to be cutting a $9,000 check to Keller Williams, which you're going to leave with at settlement. Bring it to the office here, to drop it in the bin, so you get paid on it. So you need to give them an invoice for that because they're paying the commission. So that's the easiest way to look at it. So you want to come into your room, your transaction room for this deal. I'm just going to go into a random one here and pull it. So we'll just go in here and go to Documents and then Add, DocuSign Forms, and then there's literally a folder called Commission Statements. You can click on that and then look at who you represent. Do you only have the list seller? Do you only have the buyer? Do you represent both sides? So I'll put all three in here and we'll just go through one at a time. So let's say I'm going to click on this so I can read the whole thing. So let's say you represent only the buyer. You open it up. Now this commission statement is going from you to the title company. So the title company name, maybe it's Surety, maybe it's YHT, whoever is asking for it. So if you have the seller, it's still going to go to the buyer's title company. All right, so if you have the seller, somebody's going to ask you for a commission statement. It's not that important to put the name of the title company on here. You can do from, I usually just type in KW Morristown. You could also just type in your name. Your name might already be here, totally fine. The dates doesn't really matter, but I'll put on today's date. All right, so the property address, again, this will be on here if you're using a room that you've already got documents in. We'll say 123 Main Street, Morristown, New Jersey, 08057, and then the sale price, like I just said. So now you need to, this number needs to line up with three things, okay? It needs to line up with what's in Bright MLS. So it needs to line up with what's in Bright MLS. It needs to line up with what is on the contract. So pull up your contract and scroll down to page 11 or 12 and look and see what is the commission for the buyer side. Is it 2.5% minus 100? So if it's 2.5% minus 100, you need to put the sale price here. So we'll say 300,000. The listing broker, we represent the buyer only. The listing broker is, we'll say KW Washington Township. And it doesn't matter, even if we have both sides here, you can still prepare this the same way and put KW Morristown here. It's really not a big deal as long as they have an accurate amount for who's going to who, right? So selling broker, a lot of people confuse selling broker with with listing broker. Selling broker means buyer broker. Selling broker means buyer broker, okay? Keller Williams Realty, that's us, and so we said it's 2.5% minus 150, so it's $300,000 times 0.025, 7,500 minus $100, $7,400, 7,400. So that is the commission that is going to us, to Keller Williams Realty. So you're going to walk out of settlement with a check in this amount. You sending this over to the title company means that they're going to put this dollar amount on the ALTA, the final document that gets signed at settlement, that shows exactly what the breakdown of every fee is. So this number needs to match what was in Bright, and that number should match what's on the contract, and that number should match this number, and this number should match what's on the ALTA. So it's like a trail. So you go all the way from the Bright is the first place you see the commission. So if you go in Bright, you find your listing, you scroll down, it's going to say 2.5% minus 100. Then you're going to open up the contract and it's going to say 2.5% minus 100. Then you're going to put on here the actual dollar amount. This is the first time the dollar amount comes up. And the title company is going to take this dollar amount and put it on the ALTA. Now they're verifying this with the other side as well, and what's on the contract. So if you put the wrong amount on here, let's say you put 7,600, the title company is going to ask you, well, who's paying the other 200 if you somehow put the wrong number on here? The best example I can give of how an agent that messed this up big time is the commission was 3%. So it was 3% minus 100, and the agent did the commission request on 2.5% minus 100. The title company didn't know. It was 3% minus 100 on the contract. It was 3% minus $100 in Bright, and she put 2.5% minus 100 on the contract. So on this deal, for an example, $8,900 is what we should have gotten. She cost herself $1,500 for that simple mistake. she felt too bad, as I would have too, after settlement to go back and get the additional money from her client. So she ate that loss. So make sure that this is accurate. This needs to reflect the contract, accurate dollar amount here. Save it, download it. So you want to hit save and close, refresh your screen, download it, send it over to the title company via email. So this is the listing only side. So if you just represent the seller and not the buyer, title company is still going to be asking you for this, so it's filled out the same way. But now you put in both sides. So the other broker we said is KW Washington Township. Switching it up. So $300,000 on our listing is typically going to be 2.5% or 3% plus 150. So if this was our listing, 300,000, so we do 300, 123 times 0.03 plus 150 is 9150. 9150. That's our commission. The commission to the other agent is 3% minus 150, which is times 0.03 minus 150 is 8850. So this is how it looks. I see agents all the time do, hey, Keller Williams is getting 9150 and Washington Township's getting 9,000. No. 3%, just do one line at a time. The listing broker's commission per Bright MLS and per the contract is per your listing agreement, then per Bright MLS, then per the contract is 3% plus 150. 3% times the sale price plus 150. The selling broker or the buyer's brokers is the same as it is in the listing agreement, in Bright MLS, and on the contract, 3% minus $150. So you take the sales price times 3% minus $150. And that's why it's a $300 difference. So same thing, you hit save and close, and then you can refresh your screen, DocuSign issue, and then once you refresh your screen, you can click on the commission statement, click the little download button, download. Now you've got a PDF for it right here, and you can send the PDF over to the title company how you normally would. And that's a commission statement. I'm not going to show both buyer and seller side because it's exactly the same as what we just did. That's it.